Hello, we're back. I'm Emily Liska, Executive Director of the Jacksonville Historical Society, and you're watching the Jacksonville History Show, brought to you by the Jacksonville Historical Society. And of course, we're all about North Florida history. And with me right now to talk about some of the most fascinating history of North Florida is Sandy Arpen. She is president of the Mandarin Museum and Historical Society. Sandy, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
And I'm just going to say, you're an all-volunteer group. You have so much going on down there. All the citizens of Jacksonville need to send you thank you notes. I mean, you all work so hard, and you work so diligently to bring this fascinating history of the Mandarin area into public view, and you do it largely at a historic park in Mandarin. I'm going to let you quickly tell about that, and we're getting into your big project of the year in a few minutes. So go right ahead and tell us where you're located at a history park in Mandarin known as...
Well, we're at the Walter Jones Historical Park, which is a city park, and we are very lucky there. We have some historic structures on the park property, which is on the river, so you have access to the river there. And the Mandarin Museum is actually located at the front of the park, where we have our permanent exhibits, including the Maple Leaf, Harriet Beecher Stowe, Mandarin artists, and the history of Mandarin.
And all those exhibits are related specifically to Mandarin. And the newest and latest and most fascinating, not that you didn't always mention this within your exhibit space, is an exhibit on the Maple Leaf. And here we are at the 150th anniversary of the sinking of the Maple Leaf, a Civil War Union transport. And this is hugely important in our nation's history. And talk about that a little bit and about this new exhibit, still open and available to the public.
Okay, thank you. And I'm glad that you brought up that it is nationally important, because you know, we certainly value its importance to Mandarin, to Duval County, to the state of Florida, but for the whole country, because this is the greatest repository of Civil War artifacts ever is in the St. Johns River.
Still
under 5
in the
feet
river.
of mud. That's right, under 5 feet of mud, right off of Mandarin Point. So we lay claim to that, and we are having this anniversary year where we have obtained artifacts from the Florida Division of Historical Resources to have on display.
And we see that everybody is viewing the poster right now. I go right ahead.
That's right. And the diver is front and foremost there, because in the 1980s and 90s, an archaeological expedition that was led by Dr. Keith Holland, a local dentist, actually explored this shipwreck, surveyed it, retrieved about 3,000 to 4,000 artifacts from it, and then preserved them and gave them to the state of Florida. So what we have in our permanent exhibit and what we have on our special exhibit right now are on loan to us from the state of Florida, because Dr. Holland gave them to the state of Florida.
A very generous and knowledgeable man. And I mean, we could spend the next 3 hours talking about the saga of how Dr. Holland was able to put together the entire deal and package to dive to that ship and recover those. This was not for the faint of heart what he put together. And I'm not talking about the dive, I'm talking about the permission from all the entities to do this. It is overwhelming, and his story is beyond fascinating. But here we have now these important relics, and they estimate how many remain underneath the water?
99% of the cargo that was on the Maple Leaf when it was coming back from Palatka on April 1st, 1864, remains under the mud of the St. Johns River. And that cargo belonged to 3 regiments of Union soldiers, so probably 3,000 or 4,000 soldiers. So it's a cultural treasure beyond even me being able to explain. One thing that people don't know, too, is that it is the only National Historic Landmark in all of Duval County. The shipwreck site itself is the only landmark of that designation we have in Duval County. And so it has
only four of them nationwide. There may be a few more now. Shipwrecks, right?
Yes.
And now I think you know, just a few more have been maybe added to that. Now we have an image of some of the artifacts. I don't think that's been shown yet. that were found on the maple leaf of this just 1 or 2% brought up, and maybe we can get that up on the, there you go.
Yes.
And maybe they can get it up a little longer.
And many of those artifacts that are in this picture, I selected that picture because some of those artifacts are actually at the museum at this time during the special exhibit. The little pitcher that's up at the top, one of the belt buckles, the spurs, we pretty much have a collection of things that represent military items, including some rare military items, personal items, effects that the soldiers carried with them that were important to them, pipes, you know, mirrors, all kinds of things. And then things like this pitcher were actually things that the soldiers took from a deserted plantation homes,
little southern homes
along
picked
the
off a little
way
bit,
in South Carolina.
A little treasure from the homes of the South right there.
Yeah, and those were to be souvenirs, I guess.
But it's special now because not only do we have these Union artifacts, but we know we're looking at artifacts that were pertinent to the South as well. So
That's right.
it's such a fabulous mixed bag.
That's
and to think this is considered the ultimate treasure trove of all Civil War finds.
In existence. And that was by the former director of the National Park Service, the chief historian there.
And you've had tremendous events. Tell people when they can see your exhibit and some of these artifacts.
Well, the museum is open on Saturdays from 9 to 4 every Saturday. And then we have special events through the year. But a time that's really fun to come to see them is we have Meet the Diver Days.
Meet the Diver.
two a month, on one Saturday afternoon and one Sunday afternoon. The next one is Sunday, July 20th. And Dr. Holland will be there personally, along with 2 or 3 of the divers that participated in these dives to retrieve these artifacts. And they are fascinating. I mean, they will all tell the stories of the ship, of the event, of the retrieval of the artifacts, of the legal things that he had to go through to retrieve them. And you have them personally there to answer questions and to listen to their stories. And it's a great opportunity. 11 to 4.
11 to 4, so they are there interacting with individuals.
Yes, all afternoon.
Is there a presentation at any given time, or they just get,
it's very informal. You come in and you come into the group and go around, and they show you the artifacts and the diver and talk about the whole gamut.
So these people are indefatigable. Did I get that word right? Just like back when they were diving.
It's fascinating.
Now, so they were diving how many years ago?
Well, I think they finished in 1994.
So yeah.
So they kind of all walked away from it for almost 20 years. And now Dr. Holland is an integral part of our being able to do this. If he hadn't come to help us, we would not have been able to have the impact that we've had with this exhibit and with all of these special events around the Maple Leaf, because he jumped in and has really helped us. One of the things he's done too, I wanted to point out, is the book, The Maple Leaf, which he wrote and edited, and other people contributed to, but has been out of print for quite a number of years, and he gave us the rights to reprint this book as the 150th anniversary edition. And so we're very, very grateful and proud of that, and we have these available at the museum.
And you should be proud, because everyone has people want a copy of this book. This is just one book that hasn't been out there, hasn't been available. So you pulled it off, and with his help and Mandarin Museum, you get such big kudos for this entire 150th anniversary project. It's been sensational. And of course, I'm very proud as well, not only for everything that Dr. Holland is doing with the 150th anniversary, but I'm proud to say he is a former president of the Jacksonville Historical Society. And back when he was president, the society was integrally involved in getting the project off the ground. But it was really all Dr. Holland in the end, just an amazing man. I'd like to talk about some other projects you have, and equally fascinating, just completely different. Mandarin Museum and Historical Society, you're involved in saving the oldest one-room schoolhouse in Duval County and moving it to your park, the Walter Jones Park. And by the way, for those who think they're coming to hear the divers, The Walter Jones Park is about 1 mile down the Mandarin Road from the northernmost intersection of San Jose and Mandarin Road.
That's right.
And that's where
On the
they
right,
need to go.
on the riverside.
Or go to your website, you know,
That's right.
the Mandarin Museum. So here you're going to move this one-room school to the Mandarin Park, the Walter Jones Park. Tell us about this school and how this all gelled.
Well, this schoolhouse has been something that we have wanted to save for many, many years. It was built in 1889, and it was on the property where St. Joseph's Church complex is now, because it was actually a mission of the Sisters of St. Joseph's.
And it's on this screen for viewers to see.
Of it, yes. And that schoolhouse was used originally by the Sisters of St. Joseph to educate and teach the African-American children who had been freed from slavery after the Civil War to read and write. And it really functioned both. It was a school that taught white children and black children, but it was primarily designed to educate the freed slaves after the Civil War. So it became part of their complex in 1889, and it was removed from St. Joseph's in 1943 and given to a man who worked for the parish, and he used it as a residence and a warehouse and different things over the years. When he passed away, a couple in Mandarin bought it and moved it to their home on Mandarin Road. So it moved from St. Joseph's to St. Augustine Road to Mandarin Road. And we've tried to get it in 2008. We were not successful in raising the funds to do that. This year we were able to pull it off. The property was up for sale again, kind of like what Martin was saying. They came to us and said, we're going to be selling our property. Do you want to try to get the schoolhouse again? And it was very serendipitous, because at the very same time, our councilman, Matt Schellenberg, put into the Mandarin Newsline that each council district was going to be given $200,000 from a special fund, that each councilman would get $200,000 to use for park improvements.
So there you go.
And so we went right to him and said, we have something we would like to be included in that monies, and he was able to commit $40,000 to us for that.
And we have very little time left, so the shout out to Matt Schellenberg for that. And also
the Mandarin Community Club. That was my next thing,
and
because the Mandarin Community Club, which you were the president of, has committed $10,000 to purchase the building.
They did, and I'm very proud of them for that.
And then we have private donors who have given significant amounts.
And we have almost no time left. I don't think we're getting to any hurricanes, so congratulations. Really, you deserve all the credit at Mandarin Museum for putting it all together. People need to look for that. Is there a target date on getting it there?
It's probably coming in August.
August. And in the meantime, you got something else big coming. August 21st, third Thursday in the evening. Tell people quickly what it is.
Hurricane Dora, we're looking at 50 years ago with George Winterling, who was the only person to predict it accurately, will be on tape to talk about his experiences.
And a real coup that you snagged that interview with George, the beloved weatherman of Channel 4 fame. You're just doing so much down there. We had a lot of great Hurricane Dora images to show. Maybe we'll get to show them next month. And it's all going to be pertinent to Mandarin. So I know that you're just doing a lot. I want to thank you, and I want to thank all the viewers. I've got to wrap it up. So for now, we're history. Thanks, Sandy.
Thank you.